Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this lesson, we are going to talk about an important concept in Arabic noun that it has gender. So the gender here is referring to grammatical gender. So we have two terms. The first term is al-mudhakkar. Al-mudhakkar, or you can just say mudhakkar. Mudhakkar is referring to masculine word. So we call it muzakkar. And another term is al-mu'annath. Al-mu'annath, or you can just say mu'annath. So mu'annath is referring to a feminine word. So we have these two terms, al-muzakkar and al-mu'annath. Okay. So here, if you look at the points, I said that Arabic nouns have genders. First is muzakkar and second is mu'annath. So these two terms, muzakkar and mu'annas, they can be used to refer to both human and also non-human. Of course, for human, it is obvious. You can have male and you can have female. But what about non-human? So I will explain it here. Okay, so number 3, the gender of a noun, whether it is muzakkar or whether it is mu'annas, is determined by, number 1, whether it is a true male or true female, and this is true for human. So if it is a human, then of course you will say muzakkar and mu'annas depending on his gender or her gender. Number 2, sometimes you can also use this to refer to an object, okay, to non-human. So how do you know whether it is muzakkar or mu'annas? So by looking at the existence or the non-existence of mu'annas signs. Again, I repeat, by looking at whether there is mu'annas sign or there is no mu'annas sign. And number 3 is by looking at the usage of the Arabs. So in this case, we have to check in the dictionary, or we have to ask the Arabs, what is the gender of that word? Now, let us look at some examples. Okay, some examples for muzakkar and mu'annas, for both human and also for non-human, for objects. So firstly, we look at the examples of muzakkar and mu'annas for human. So here I have two columns, muzakkar words and mu'annas word. So for example, the first word, talib. Talib, a student. So of course, talib, this is referring to a male student. Therefore, we say this is a muzakkar word. Alright? If you want to refer to a female student, then we use the same. If you look at the word here, we use the same word. It is also talib, but you have this sign. This is the mu'annas sign that we mentioned earlier. One of the sign is by having this. So taliba is referring to a female student. Then we call it a mu'annas word. The second example, walad. That means, it means a boy or a son. So this is muzakkar. Since it is for a male, then this is muzakkar. Next word is bintun. Bint. Bint means a girl or a daughter. So this is, of course, referring to a female, then it is mu'annas. Mu'annas word. Another word, tabib. Tabib, a doctor. Tabib, a doctor. Here it is a male doctor. So a male doctor, muzakkar. Tabiba. Tabiba. So tabiba is referring to a female doctor. Since it is for a female, then we call it mu'annas. And furthermore, you have this ta, similar to this ta in the word taliba. So since you have this ta, again, this is referring to a mu'annas word. Next word, mudarris. Mudarris, a teacher. So this is a male teacher, mudarris. Then you say muzakkar. Mudarrisa. Mudarrisa is also a teacher, but with this ta, so this is now a female teacher. So we say mudarrisa, a female teacher, then it is mu'annas. Next word, muwazzaf. Muwazzaf, an officer, a male officer, muzakkar. Muwazzafa. Muwazzafa is also an officer, but with this ta, now it is a female officer. Then this is mu'annath. Next word, abun. Abun or ab. Ab is a father, definitely it is mudzakkar. Ummun. A mother. So a mother, is mu'annas. So the word is mu'annas. Next word, rajulun. Rajul. Rajul, a man. A man, this is muzakkar word. Imra'ah. Imra'atun. Imra'ah, a woman. So a woman, definitely this is a mu'annas word. Next word, these are names. Ali. Ali. So Ali, of course, is a name for a man or for a boy. Then this is muzakkar. Zainab. Zainab. Zainab is a name for a woman or a girl. Then this is mu'annas. Okay, another example of a male name, Ahmad. Ahmad. So this is for a male. Then this is also muzakkar. And finally, Fatima. Fatima. This is the name. This is a name for a woman or for a girl. Then we say this is mu'annas. So basically, for human, then you look at the gender of the person. If he is a male, then of course you call it a muzakkar word. And if she is a female, then the word is mu'annas. And this is what I mean here. The words are categorized into muzakkar and mu'annas, or mu'annas, by looking at the gender of the person. Okay, so this is the first type of muzakkar and mu'annas for human. Now we look at muzakkar and mu'annas for non-human, okay, or for an animate object. Okay, so this time, of course, for object, there is no gender. I mean, the object itself has no gender. There is no muzakkar pen or muzakkar or mu'annas pen, for example. So how do you determine whether the word is muzakkar or mu'annas? Okay, so let us look at the examples. For example, here we have muzakkar words. So these are all muzakkar words. We just go through the words. Later I will explain how do you determine whether it is muzakkar or mu'annas. First, we look at the first word, kitabun. Kitab, a book. So a book, kitab, is muzakkar. Qalam, a pen. Qalam is also a muzakkar word. Miftah. Miftah. Miftah is a key. This is also muzakkar word. Hasub. Next word, hasub. Hasub is a computer. This is also muzakkar word. Baytun. Bayt, a house. Also a muzakkar word. Hammam. Hammam. Hammam is a bathroom. This is also muzakkar. Daftar. Daftar. Daftar, an exercise book, okay, or your writing book. That is also muzakkar. Matbakh. Matbakhun, kitchen. This is also muzakkar word. And finally, kursiyun. Kursi, a chair. A kursi is also a muzakkar word. Okay, so these are the example of muzakkar words. And now we look at the examples of mu'annas words for non-human. The first word, jami'ah. Jami'ah, a university. So the word jami'ah is considered as mu'annas. How do you know this is mu'annas? By having this letter ta in the end. So by having this letter ta, this indicates that the word is a mu'annas word. So jami'ah is mu'annas. Next word, madrasa. Madrasa. Madrasa is a school. So madrasa, again, you see this ta in the end. So with this ta, it is a mu'annas word again. So madrasa is mu'annas word. Sayyara. Sayyaratun. Sayyara, a car. Sayyara, again, you see this ta. So this is also a mu'annas word. Next word, haqiba. Haqibatun. Haqiba, a bag. Again, you have this ta. So this is also mu'annath. Next word, maktaba. Maktaba. Maktaba is a library or a bookstore. So maktaba, the word ends with this ta again. So this is also mu'annas. Next word, sa'a. Sa'a, a clock. Sa'a, a clock. Now, so again, the word ends with this ta. This is also mu'annas word. Madina. Madinatun. Madina, city. A city, Madina. So the word Madina is also ends with this ta. This is also mu'annath. And finally, and then we have ghurfa. Ghurfatun. Ghurfa. Also we have this ta. This is a room. This is also a mu'annas word. And lastly, the word hujra. Hujratun, which is also a room. And since it ends with this ta, this is also mu'annas word. So if you compare between these two groups, the first group and the second group, for the second group, all of the words end with this ta. So with this ta, it tells us that these are all mu'annas words. But if you look at the muzakkar words, you don't see the ta in the end of all of these words. So without the ta, the word is muzakkar. Okay, so that is how we do differentiate muzakkar and mu'annas word for non-human, for objects. So here, the explanation, in the explanation, I say that the words are considered muzakkar if they do not have any mu'annas signs. You don't see any of the mu'annas signs. There are a few of mu'annas signs, but what we have seen so far is only one sign, that is the existence of this ta. Okay, so this ta indicates that the words are all mu'annas. So here one of the sign is if the word end with this ta. Okay, this ta. All right. So that is how to differentiate between mu'annas and muzakkar for non-human. So far, we have seen two ways how to determine whether the word is muzakkar or mu'annas, by looking at whether the word is a true male or female for human, and whether there is or there is no mu'annas sign. And there is another way to determine whether the word is muzakkar or mu'annas, but this is a bit difficult. So it is by looking at the usage of the Arabs. So in other way, you have to refer to the dictionary, or you have to refer to the grammar books to know whether the word is muzakkar or mu'annas. So these are some of the examples. So I put it here under additional information. So here I say that some words are considered mu'annas. Some words are considered mu'annas. That means that the Arab use the words as mu'annas words, even though there are no sign of it, even though you don't see any mu'annas signs. For example, so these are just some examples. For example, the word ainun. Ain. So this is what? Ain is eye, the eye. So the word ain, if you look at the word, there is no mu'annas sign. There is no ta. It does not end with this ta. So if we follow the previous example, then we will say the word ain is the word ain as muzakkar. But if you ask the Arabs, or if you look at the grammar book, they will say that no, it is not a muzakkar word, but this is a mu'annas word. So how do you know? Then it depends on the usage of the Arabs. The next word, yad. Yadun. Yad is hand. Yad is hand. Yad is also a mu'annas word, even though you don't see any ta in the end. Okay, so yad is also mu'annas. The next word is shamsun. Shamsun or shams means sun, the sun. So if you look at the word shams, again, there is no ta. It does not end with this ta. Therefore, if we follow this, you will say this is muzakkar. But unfortunately, no, this is not mu'annas, because the Arab used this word as a mu'annas word. So we just follow. And the last example is the word nafsun or nafs. Nafs means soul. So soul here, the word nafs, even though it does not end with the ta, with this ta, this is also considered as mu'annas. So there are many other words similar to this. So this is, as I said, this is a bit difficult. So you have to check with your teachers, or you can check it with the reference books. Alright, so this is the lesson on muzakkar and mu'annas.